Shalom, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbarak, to all my brothers, Yahweh Shema Elatah Hashem, Yahweh Shad, all my sisters. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, straight up out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under command of General Yohana. And what we do is we teach the Black, Hispanic, and Native people that they are God's true and only chosen people. And with being God's true and only chosen people comes with a set of responsibilities. Those responsibilities is to follow the law as the law is written and the spirit behind it. They're really one and the same. And what that law dictates is for us to love each other. That's what the law, that's the whole purpose of the law. And if we don't, we end up going through some, we end up going through some hell. So today's class, we're going to keep it as milky as possible. We're going to be going through Deuteronomy 28. Giving you the basic understandings of the curses that was put on the Israelites. And what you got to understand, if you plan on walking this walk as a priest and prophet of the Lord, you know what I'm saying? That's the question that you're going to get challenged with the most. Prove that you're an Israelite. Prove that you're an Israelite. Well, these prophecies prove that we are Israelites. You know what I'm saying? These prophecies prove we are who we are. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to start off. We ain't going to hop into Deuteronomy real quick because a lot of people like to take Deuteronomy and get, real sad about it, get depressed, start, you know what I'm saying, thinking the wrong way with it. So first we're going to start off with Psalms 103 and 8. Let me type that in the caption. So those on Facebook and YouTube can see it. You know what I'm saying? You hop on Facebook and the YouTube, you'll be able to see it. Every scripture I put in, I try to type it in the chat. All right. If you're there, read along with me. All right. Psalms 103 and 8. And it reads, "The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and plenteous in mercy." All right. The Lord is merciful. This is something that a Christian would preach and they would stand 10 toes down on. He's slow to anger. So whatever you're going through is going through because most likely you deserved it. You got into the crosshairs of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Because you was breaking his law, statutes, and commandments. Now you got to go through the punishments of breaking those law, statutes, and commandments, right? But guess what? Let's continue. He is not always chide, neither will he keep his anger. All right, let's look. I also screen share on the YouTube and the Facebook. All right, we're gonna be looking up the definition of chide. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be looking it up so there's no misunderstandings. Nobody can say I'm reaching. Christians like to say a lot of things. So let's get with it. Let's get this screen share on. All right, chide. To speak out in angry or displeased rebuke. To voice disapproval to, reproach in a usual, mild, or constructive manner. Scold. Basically, cuss out. That's what we would call it nowadays. It's cussing out. You know what I'm saying? So the Most High, he's not quick to cuss you out. He's not quick to, rebuke you. He's going to give you some time to, get yourself right. That's what we're going through now. That's why we're going through this grace period right now, because the Most High trying to get us right. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Neither will he keep his anger forever. So the thing that you're going through, you got time to get right, but he ain't going to be mad at that. This is a time where that anger is going to, like it's like when a parent puts his child on punishment. That child's not going to be on punishment forever. All right? And that's what the curses of Deuteronomy is. They're a punishment for our forefathers and us breaking these curses. As long as we keep on breaking these breaking these laws, we won't be able to break these curses. We won't be able to get out of them. You know what I'm saying? But let's go to Deuteronomy 28. Matter of fact, let's go to Deuteronomy 1:1 first. All right. So we can have this whole book, this whole understanding of the scriptures in context. You know what I'm saying? So we won't be getting anything misconstrued or nothing like that. We'll be able to have full understanding. Oh, yeah. And if you got questions, type them in the chat. I will be able to see them. Let me scroll up, see if there's any in the TikTok so far. Nothing in the TikTok so far. All right. Nothing on the YouTube and the Facebook. But we're gonna get with it. Let's get with Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1. Give me a second to get there with you. Here we go. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1. These be the words which Moses spoke unto all Israel on this side Jordan, in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea, between Paran and Tophel, and Laban and Hazeroth and Dizahab. All right, now this is the Lord's words to Israel, nobody else. See, that's the problem with the world. They think the Bible's for everybody. They think that the Bible's everybody's culture, everybody's rule of thumb. No. The Bible is private mail for one culture, one people, and that's the Israelites. It's not for everybody. The Bible is not for everybody. Plain and simple. The Bible's strictly for Black, Hispanic, and Native people. That's our culture. So when we break the law, that's why we are on the top of everything negative. You know what I'm saying? Like Caucasians and Asians and Arabs, they practice in homosexuality too. But when we practice in homosexuality, we're number one in AIDS. We're number one in monkeypox. You know what I'm saying? Caucasians and Asians and eat pork, crab, shrimp, and lobster, dog, rat, cat. They eat all that too. But guess what? When we eat it, we're number one in high blood pressure, gout, you know what I'm saying, cholesterol. You know what I'm saying? We're number one in everything. When we break the law, it's on us 10 times. And it's like the saying when Caucasians catch a cold, we catch the flu. You know what I'm saying? Everything is worse for us because it's supposed to be. We're the ones who actually have the responsibility of keeping the law. You know what I'm saying? And you can read that in Psalms. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Now that we got an understanding of the book of Deuteronomy and who it's for, it's the words of the Lord spoken to the Israelites, not everybody. So these are for Israelites, but let's continue. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do his commandments. Now, if we listen to God, right? Which I command thee this day. That's why you're hearing it right now. Before, you ain't learn the laws. That's why us in the ISUPK, we teach the law, statutes, commandments, so you can hear it. And once you hear it, you got to follow. You know what I'm saying? that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Like, if you follow the laws and his commandments and do what you're told, you'll be on high. You'll be above all nations on the face of this earth. I don't see a problem with that. A lot of people will say, no, we're all equal. No, God has a hierarchy. God is not about equality. Equality is a childish way of thinking. Equality is not real. It's what children think. Men don't think like that. You know what I'm saying? There's not two things on this planet that are equal. Nothing. Identical twins ain't even fully identical. You know what I'm saying? They're not even equal. There's not two things on this planet that are equal. So what makes you think you could be equal to everything else? What makes you think everything should be equal to you? You know what I'm saying? That's the childish way of thinking. But if you'll read some of these blessings, you know what I'm saying? And you'll understand that that's not the position Black, Hispanics, and Natives are in. That's not the position we are in. Let's read some of these blessings real quick. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee, if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Verse 3. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, and blessed shalt thou be in the field. Is Black, Hispanic, and Native blessed in the city? I don't know if you've been down Mass Ave. How about Dudley? Have you been by Mattapan Square? You know what I'm saying? Have you been by Ashmont Station? You know what I'm saying? We are a damaged and destroyed people. We are messed up. We are destroyed. We are at the bottom. We're not blessed in the city. We are not running anything. We don't run nothing. We barely have any businesses. None of that. We don't run nothing in the city. In the field, what's the field synonymous with? The field is synonymous with where you work. We ain't blessed that where we work, or no why we don't own no fields. We don't own no businesses. Now I know what y'all thinking. Yeah, there's Black people that own businesses. Yeah, but those are a few. We are not known to run industries. Like, for example, the Jewish man, he runs the diamond district. When you go to a diamond district, you're most likely going to see a Jewish man running that. He runs Hollywood, the music industry. You know what I'm saying? He's most likely your landlord. We don't run no industry. You know what I'm saying? We don't run everything as a whole. See, these curses are affecting our people as a whole. And these blessings should affect us as a whole too. Not a few sprinkled in here and there. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Let's see another blessing that's supposed to happen if we follow the law. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. That means we'll be able to hold on to things. Our bank account will be full. You know what I'm saying? We struggling check to check. That's what we do as a people. We struggle check to check. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop down to verse 15 real quick. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Like, it shall come to pass. It's a guarantee. See, this is what happened. You know what I'm saying? Before Moses even came down with the tablets, with the written law, you know what I'm saying, from the mountain, when he came down from the mountain, we was already worshiping false idols. We had a golden calf, so we broke the rule right there. we're already messed up. So those curses started from then. You know what I'm saying? Those curses, Israel did not listen. Israel did not listen to the Most High. And since he did not listen to the Most High, he had to go through what he had to go through. You know what I'm saying? We had to do what we had to do. And now we're in this situation because we was not listening to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? But let's let me see if there's any questions up on TikTok real quick. You said Caucasians eat dog and cats. Yeah, they do. The Bible was for priests and Levites only. We're a nation of priests and kings, man. Are the parents upstairs? I don't know what that means. Thank you. Why does Jesus love the... Let me tell you something. Christ do not love them. He does not love them. That was last week's class. You should have been here last week. I proved that last week. But let's continue. We're going to read Deuteronomy 28 and 15 again. But it shall come to pass if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the store. Now, these curses, now we know Israel did not follow those laws, statutes, and commandments. It's all throughout the Bible that they did not. Now, these curses shall come upon them. It's guaranteed. Now, these curses are a sign and a wonder to who Israel is. When you see a nation that's fallen under these curses, that's so you know who the Israelites are. Now, let's see. Who's cursed in the city and cursed in the field? Who cannot prosper in the city or prosper in the field? We already went what blessed in the city and blessed in the field is. What the exact opposite is what we're talking about here. You know what I'm saying? The exact opposite is what we're talking about. Who's cursed in the city and cursed in the field? Let me tell you, it's the blacks, the Hispanics, and the native people. Cursed in the fields, cursed in the cities, cursed in the barrio, cursed in the res, cursed in the ghetto. We are cursed in these places because we don't want to follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. We broke them, so we have to continue with these curses. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Verse 17. Cursed shall be thy basket in thy store. Who can't hold a dime? Who's living check to check? If that basket in that store is blessed, you know what I'm saying? That means that your bank account is full. That means you could take trips at will. You have no worry about your bills. You know what I'm saying? You could hold on to things. You probably got a portfolio and everything. This is as a people, not as individuals. This is as a people. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's rich black folks out there. But as a people, they're no better than any of us. As a people, we are struggling. As a people. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Verse 18, cursed shall be the fruit of thy body. What's the fruit of your body? This is twofold. What is the fruit of your body? Let me deal with it on a physical level. The fruit of your body could be your children. You know what I'm saying? Because they come from your body. It is what your body produces. Your children are going to be going through the same struggles as you're going through. Why you think we still going through the same thing we was going through in the 60s? Going through the same thing we was going through in the 20s. Hell, we're going through the same thing we was going through in chattel slavery. Y'all don't see it, but we're still slaves. We're still cursed. Our kids are still cursed. Our kids are going through the same hell that we are going through. We are passing it down to them because we're not teaching them better. We're not teaching them to follow these law, statutes, and commandments. We're teaching them to get it how you can get it how you live. You know what I'm saying? You only live once. You know what I'm saying? We're teaching them all types of foolishness. But if we taught them these law, statutes, commandments, they'll have a set of morals that will get them out of these curses. You know what I'm saying? A set of standards that will get them out of these curses. And you won't have to worry about them catching these diseases because they won't put themselves in a position to catch these diseases. You won't have to worry about your son having high blood pressure and gout and, you know what I'm saying, diabetes because he's not living that lifestyle. He's not eating all types of manner of garbage. You know what I'm saying? He's not doing that. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Because these are the curses. These curses should show you who the Israelites are. Only Black, Hispanics, and Natives are going through these things as a people. You might have a few Caucasians that's in the hood, but they just messed up their white privilege. That's all they done. They messed up their white privilege. If they just kept to themselves and kept to their people and stayed away from us, they will be living glorious in their own kingdom. But nah, they look at us and they see good entertainment, fast-paced lifestyle, and they want in. And now their kids are in the ghetto. But that don't mean that them as a people is cursed. No, these curses only fall on Black, Hispanic, and Natives, which is why we are the chosen people of God, because God is punishing us. You know what I'm saying? Because God is punishing us. But let's jump back to Deuteronomy 8 and 5. Let's go. We're going to stay in the book of Deuteronomy for a while, but I wanted y'all to see something. Let's get it. Let me tap that in there. Give y'all a quick understanding on something. Thou shalt, Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 5. Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chastiseth his son, so the Lord thy God chastiseth thee. Now remember, Deuteronomy 1 and 1. These are the words God was speaking to Israel. So this is what he's telling to a certain nation of people, which are the Black, Hispanic, and Native people, that like a father chastises his son, like a father corrects his son, like a father punishes his son, that's what God does to us. That's why God's good. That's only love. You don't want your son out there doing the same foolishness as his so-called friends are doing. So what do? You chastise them. You correct them. You give them that stupid quote that we all heard growing up. If your friend jumped off a bridge, you're going to jump off. We all heard it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a father does. Like, don't follow the ways of the Gentiles. Don't do what they do. We're not supposed to be living their lifestyles. We're not supposed to be eating cat, rat, dog, pork, crab, shrimp, lobster. We're not supposed to be participating in homosexuality. You know what I'm saying? Pedophilia. We're not supposed to be doing that. That's their thing. Let them destroy each other like that. We're not supposed to be in orgies like they do. We're not supposed to be lascivious and selfish people. We're supposed to be looking out for each other. That's what we're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? So, like a father, he don't want us doing what they do, so he'll give you that stupid quote. If your friends jump off a bridge, you gonna jump off with them too? It's a stupid quote, but we all heard it growing up. And the Most High is our Father, and He's going to chastise us. And that's what these curses are. These curses are a chastisement. They are literally the Most High is chastising us so we could get things right, so we could do what He tells us to do, so we could be that good son that listens to his father. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Because there's a lot of curses here. It takes more than 2 hours to break them all down. So let's drop down to you could read on your own time all these curses, and you will see that they only fit Black, Hispanic, and Native people as a whole. But I'm going to drop down a bit. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, where can I go next? Because there's a lot. Let's go to 21. No, let's go to 20. Let's start with 20. And I sure did not put in every scripture. Well, I did a horrible job with it. But let's continue. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 20. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settlest thine hand unto for to do. So that goes back to the last curse that we were saying too, because that's the other fruit of thy body, is the things that you physically make with your hands, the plans that you physically set forth to do. You might have a few people who are successful in it. There's brothers out there that train their whole lives to be NBA stars. How many actually make it to the NBA? A lot of brothers set their hearts on being rappers. How many of them actually make it? A lot of brothers out there setting themselves to set up even businesses like construction businesses or security businesses. How many of them are flourishing? You know what I'm saying? Even the fruit of our body is cursed. Even the fruit of our body is damaged and broken down. You know why? Because we're not following the law, statute, commandments. You'd rather smoke a blunt than actually not smoke it. You know what I'm saying? And then you wonder why your breathing's messed up, because this is the curses that's on us. And we're going to get into that too. But in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed. A lot of us even destroy ourselves setting out these dreams. Shalom, Greg. Shalom. Setting out these things that we plan on doing. If you got any questions, Greg, type them on in. You know what I'm saying? And when we set out to do these things, you know what I'm saying, we end up destroying ourselves. A lot of brothers will spend all their rent money to be a drug kingpin, and that fails. They end up dead or in jail or homeless or strung out on the drugs they were selling. We've been there. We know exactly what's going on there. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of thy doing, because of your wickedness. That's why you can't make nothing. That's why you're not succeeding in anything. It's because of your own wickedness. It's because of your own wickedness. Let me see if there's more questions on TikTok. Bro, the Bible fact or allegorical? It could be both. Allegories are facts too, but there's parts of the scriptures that are allegory. There's parts of the scripture that's just plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? That's what class is for. But these curses are not an allegory. These curses are live and true and facts, and Black and Hispanic and Native people live through these curses every day. Let's continue. Whereby Thou hast forsaken me, because we forsook the Most High, his law, statutes, and commandments. That's why we're going through the things we're going through. Let's continue. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee. Why you think when a disease pops up, we are always number one in those diseases? I mean, I know there's conspiracy theories out there, but even with those conspiracy theories, it still ties into this curse. It still ties into the curse. Even if you want to say our enemies is constructing these diseases and targeting us with them, which could be true, that doesn't take the fact away that these diseases are cleaving onto us. COVID kicked our backside. COVID kicked our behinds straight up and down. These monkeypoxes are kicking our behind. Gout is kicking our behind. Diabetes is kicking our behind. High blood pressure is kicking our behind. Even the simplest of diseases are kicking our behind. The pestilence shall cleave onto us because we're not following God's laws. That's a punishment for us. You know what I'm saying? Let's continue. Until he have consumed thee from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. We don't even possess no land. Where's the land of black? Where's Africa, America at? Where that at? It don't exist. We're still slaves here. We still slaves here. We carry the last name of other people. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down, we carry the last name of other people, which is a curse too. But let's continue. Verse 22, the Lord shall smite thee with a consumption and with a fever and with an inflammation and with an extreme burning with the sword. The Most High is killing us. What do you think AIDS is? That's straight up and down AIDS right there. I seen my father die of it. I seen my father die of it. It's a slow, painful death. You know what I'm saying? Now you got all types of medicine to make it a little easier, but it doesn't change the fact. Who number one in AIDS? Black people, Hispanic people. What? Nobody else is putting themselves in risky business? Nobody else? No. I guess not. These curses only follow Black, Hispanic, and Native people. We're number one in these diseases. Let's continue. And with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. I don't know if you've seen these brothers out here, but yeah, even mildew goes up in your lungs, but they also got funguses on their bodies and stuff, man, because they out here struggling. They're out here destroying themselves. They rather get high, smoke on some crack or heroin, or doing what these white people do, whatever opioid they doing, and they rather do that than take a bath. They'd rather do that than take a bath. So now their body is just slowly dwindling and deteriorating and disintegrating away. It's because they don't want to follow the laws of the Most High. It's a good thing to be sober-minded. Good thing to deal with reality head on. I understand we're going through hell and you need that temporary getaway. I understand. There's better ways around that. Brotherhood is probably my favorite getaway, period. When I'm around my brothers, I have no problems. None. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Let's drop down. Let's see some more curses. Let's get some more joint. Let's go to 25. Verse 25, right? Drop down to verse 25. This one shall hit a little more closer to home, right? And the Lord God, and the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Like, y'all understand what that means? For one, Black, Hispanic, and Native people, you have enemies. You need to understand that. It's important that you understand that you got enemies. God does not love everybody, and neither shall you. Your love should be only for your own people. Understand that you have enemies. There's some people out here that don't want your love. They don't even want it. And you begging them for theirs. It makes you weak. It makes you a target. You never seen a gazelle cuddling up with a lion. You know why? Because that lion will straight up destroy that gazelle. That gazelle will become a lunch pack in a set for that lion. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Like, we are dying and being killed right in front of our enemies' eyes. Not just with these diseases, but with these cop shootings. Guess what? When you see all these Black men and Black women, Hispanic men and Hispanic women, and Native men and Native women dying all up on the internet, that's also, we're not the only ones seeing it. Our enemies are seeing it too. How many of us actually get to see a Caucasian man go viral when he dies on the internet? I can't even think of one. There's probably one. There's probably one. But I can't even think of it. How many of them were killed live on the internet in front of their enemies' faces? How many? Y'all remember Tamir Rice? Tamir Rice was killed in front of everybody. Everybody saw that cop hop out the car and just start shooting. No freeze, no put your hands up, just hop out, pat, 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 pat. To a 12-year-old boy that's doing what 12-year-old boys do. That's in the park playing with a toy gun. I was in the park playing with toy guns. My son's being parked playing with toy guns. You did it. Your sons did it. Hell, probably some of your daughters did it too. And that cop just hopped out. Pat, pat, pat. And all our enemies saw it. Asians saw it. You know what I'm saying? Look at George Floyd. How many people seen that? How many of our enemies see that? And then they make music about it, celebrating the man's death. They made music celebrating who else is? I think probably everybody. Probably everybody. The brother in if you're in class, what's that brother that's in the outskirts of St. Louis? Mike Brown. Even Mike, they made songs about Mike Brown. Our enemies made songs celebrating his death. It's good entertainment for them. We are literally being smitten in front of our enemies. And it's not a good look. And all we do is beg for their mercy. We beg for their love. We beg for their acceptance. And they're showing you every day that they're not giving us that. We are being smitten before our enemies. And it's all because we're not following the law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? It's all because we're not following the law, statutes, and commandments. And this is a very disgusting thing. But let's continue. Thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. Like, we tried many ways to fight our enemy. We tried loving them. We tried begging them for mercy and forgiveness. We tried the Black Panthers method. We tried the Nation of Islam method. We tried joining along with them, the Martin Luther King method. We tried everything, and all we're doing is getting killed in front of them and running from them. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. There's even been brothers that actually shot at them. Brothers that tried to kill them. I'm telling you, don't do that. Because the Lord's going to have to get you for that, because that's the Lord's vengeance. It ain't our vengeance. The Lord got things planned for our enemies. The Lord got things planned for them, and you wanting to take vengeance into your own hands is taking glory away from the Most High. And you don't want to do that. So the best thing for you to do is just band together with your people. There's safety in numbers. That's why we were doing better when we segregated. When we were segregated, the Jim Crow era and all that, guess what? We were flourishing. We were doing a whole lot better than what we're doing now under this integration. You know what I'm saying? We're doing a whole lot better. But let's continue. All right. Let's continue. And shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. We are spread everywhere. If you ever notice, there's Black people, Hispanic people, we really don't got no homes. That's why we are everywhere. That's why we are everywhere. You can see a Puerto Rican in England. You know what I'm saying? You can see a Black man in Asia. We are everywhere. And we are getting our backsides kicked everywhere. We are dying in front of our enemies everywhere. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop that. Let's go to another curse. Let's drop down to 28. This is one of those that just should hit you right in the face too. And the Lord shall smite thee with madness. The Lord shall smite thee with madness. Yeah, I don't know if y'all seen, but walk around Dudley a bit. Walk around Ruggles, Jackson Square. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to see some brothers smitten with madness. You're going to see some brothers walking down the street talking to themselves. You're going to see some brothers looking down at the ground looking for something to smoke on. You're going to see some brothers doing some crazy stuff. But the madness just don't stop there. There's other things that is madness. And we are smitten with madness. Performing homosexual acts is madness. Sexual deviancy is a form of madness. Pedophilia is a form of madness. Incest is a form of madness. You know what I'm saying? All this is a form of madness. It broke, like, look, there's a big show on Netflix called Donna. And these were true live events. I mean, the show's a little, you know what I'm saying? They put it in a little freedom to, sensationalize a bit. But the story's real. And I remember growing up, and I'm hearing about this Caucasian who is killing and eating Black men. You know what I'm saying? I was too young to understand how he even got the chance. But as I grew up, I remember hearing that it's because they wanted to go home with him, and there was homosexuality involved. Now, if those men if they followed the law and didn't practice homosexuality, where would they be now? They would still be alive. But because they didn't follow the law, well, the curse had to come upon them, and now they are smitten in front of their enemy. Smitten in front of their enemy. Who knows what type of necrophilia that he performed with their dead bodies? Just defiled even their dead bodies. Who knows? Because these are our enemies are strange people. They are very strange. They are not normal at all. They are about the most savage creature on this planet. I'd rather be in the clutches of a bear than be anywhere near them. It's not safe being around them. But I digress. Let's continue. And the Lord shall smite thee with madness, like these sexual deviancy is madness. Any sin that you commit is a form of madness because you're not thinking in your right mind. You know what I'm saying? You go out and you sniff coke. You were mad to do that in the first place. You lost your mind to do that in the first place. And then you go in the, you know what I'm saying? Then you get high and who knows what you do after that? Who knows what you do after that? You know what I'm saying? I heard of coke-fueled rage. I never actually seen it, but I heard that coke-fueled rage is real. You know what I'm saying? But let's commend it. And blindness, man. We ain't even gonna be able to see. But let's get that in full context. And blindness and astonishment of heart. Thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness. Like, we are reaching out in the middle of the day, bright and sunny, reaching out for something. We're trying to grab a hold on to something. And every Black, Hispanic, and Native person understands what I'm saying when I say this. We're trying to grab hold to something. We got dreams. We got plans. You know what I'm saying? We were aiming for something. We're reaching for something in the middle of the day. But like the blind gropeth in darkness. We're reaching, but we're blind. We don't actually understand what we're reaching for. We don't see what we're reaching for. And we're never going to obtain it because we can't even see it to grab it. We can't even see it to grab it. What's some of those things that we reach to attain? We reach to attain equality, which I was speaking on before, isn't even real. Equality isn't even real. You having a mind of equality is an inferior state of mind. You should be having a mind state of superiority because that's what God says we are. In Deuteronomy 7:6, God literally says we are supposed to be above all nations upon the planet of the earth. We're supposed to have a superior mind state. We're supposed to be thinking that they're not even good enough to be around us. And if we had that mind state, we wouldn't be having our brothers going home with Jeffrey Dahmer. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't be having our sisters walking these streets and getting kidnapped and who knows where they are today. If we had a superior mind state, our women wouldn't be on the stripper poles. You know what I'm saying? Our brothers wouldn't be high out their mind if we had a superior mind state. But no, we want to be equal. We want to do what they do. So we're groping, we're reaching for something. We don't even know what we're reaching for. We don't even know what it's going to do to us. We know nothing about it and we will never obtain it. Never. Never. Because you're blind and you're in darkness. So you'll never see it. Never. But let's continue. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. All those goals and dreams that you have, those things that you reach for, you will not prosper in your ways. You know what I'm saying? You will never reach them. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore. Because we want to be just like them. Want equality. We shall be oppressed and spoiled evermore. Like, what sense does it make to go and get closer to those that oppress you? Like, what sense does it make to put my kids in the same school as them, knowing that they are an oppressor, that they want to destroy my children? What sense does it make to go eat in a restaurant that they hate us and they could easily poison us, which they are doing? They are poisoning us slowly. The things that they put in this food now is unsafe. But what sense does it make to do that? What sense does it make to integrate with who in their right mind will put wolves in the same cage as sheep. What will happen to those sheep? That's all integration is. What will happen to those sheep? Do they burn them with hot pokers? Look, us as Black, Hispanic, and natives were branded with hot iron back in the day. That's so that you know who the slave belonged to. If slave walk around freely and you see a certain branding on them, you know what plantation they belong to. It's no different than the last name that we carry. The last name we carry is literally a brand. That's how you know who I was a slave to. You know, the Carters were slaves to the Carters. It's not that difficult to understand. We got last names that are not native to us because we were branded with those names, just like we were branded with a hot iron poker. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And no man shall save thee. No man is going to get us out of this predicament but us. But us. By us following these law, statutes, and commandments that the Most High put forth. That's the only way we're going to get out of this situation. You know what I'm saying? Us depending and begging our enemy, because that's what we're doing when we vote. We're begging him to save us. Every time you vote, you are literally begging your enemy to solve your issue. And how can your enemy solve your issue when your enemy is the issue? It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. Not one iota. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Let's drop down to let's go to the next verse. 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Oh God. If you don't understand this, I don't know what it is. But back in the day, during chattel slavery, a black man and a black woman was married. And guess what was happening to that woman? Master would come in and rape her right in front of you and dare you to do anything. And dare you to do anything. He said, I need Geno Jennings. Oh, Shalom says, that's right, says don't vote. But Geno Jennings can't hang with the ISUPK. I mean, those purple cats, he might got a chance. But with us in the ISUPK, he knows he has no chance. We don't even regard him. He's not even a bleep on our radar. In fact, a lot of stuff he talks about, we taught him. But Geno Jennings is not built like that. Yes, a lot of slaves did fight back, but what happened to them? They lost their lives by taking vengeance into their own hands. The Lord's vengeance is much worse than what we could do. So I'd rather wait on the Lord to do it. And I've seen things like that happen. I've seen things where people were violated and the violator ends up dying a horrible death. I've seen stuff like that in my eyes. Like, it's not even like you could blame anybody else type stuff. It's like person get into a car crash, end up really mangled. And everybody else survived the crash. But that person who violated somebody ends up dying. It's a beautiful thing. The way the Lord works is a beautiful thing. It's art. It's literally art. But let's continue with that. I want to read that from the top. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Like back in those days, our women was raped by massa right in front of us. Right in front of us. In fact, sometime before we even got married to them, in the European cultural way of being married to them, before we even lied with them ourselves. He would literally grab them up, rape them in front of us, and then like throw them to us. Like, here, throw the woman back to us like she's trash. You know what I'm saying? And it gets worse from there. What about even today? What all these rappers rapping about? All these rappers are rapping about taking another man's woman and having sex with her, and that's it. It's all about taking another man's woman, which is about as homosexual as it gets to me. This man pipes this woman down, and you want to put your pipe in it right after him? You want your pipe to be where another man's pipe was. That is just as sick as it gets. What's this say? Master will get all that back, what they did to us. Yeah. I mean, I ain't going to rape none of them. But what they're going to get back is going to be a whole lot worse than the rape. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put like this. You know what I'm gonna do with my slaves? I'm gonna have them mow my grass with their teeth. Yeah, they're gonna have to mow my grass with their teeth. And they're gonna have to live. I want all my slaves to live an hour outside the kingdom. And they're gonna have to work 23 hours a day. So they'll never even get home. They'll get home just to come right back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of stuff I would do. The Most High would do a whole lot worse than what I would do. So I'd rather have the Most High deal with them. But let's continue. And thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Like, what does it mean to build a house? Building a house does not mean physically building it. Even though you could take that term and rock with it too. But building a house could also mean like building a family. And then, you know, they're saying you got the welfare system telling your woman that no man could live in the house. Now, what she got to do just so her kids can eat? Guess what? They never did that to any other people. Like, we're not even number one in welfare. But Black and Hispanic women had to kick the man out the house just so they could get it. And we're not even number one. The Jewish woman is number one on welfare. Nobody's on welfare more than a Jewish woman. Did she ever have to kick out the Jewish man out of her house? No, she did not. She did not have to kick out the Jewish man. You know why? Because she's not oppressed. The law, statutes, and commandments ain't for her. So what goes on? They have to simply look out for each other. They don't even wait in line to get food stamps. They just tell their homie they want food stamps, their homie pass them a card. And say, here you go. They number one in food stamps, number one in welfare. They're number one in everything. But who is that stigma put upon? That stigma is put upon us. They say we're number one in it, but it's not even true. You know what I'm saying? But I digressed a bit. We shall build a house and we can't even dwell in it. We are kicked out of the house for multiple reasons. You know what I'm saying? Thou shalt plant a vineyard and thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Like, we shall do things and we don't. Like, how many things have the Black man invented in this country and never benefited from? How many things have the Hispanic man invented and didn't benefit from? Not one. You know, the light bulb was invented by a Black man. How's his family doing? We give that idea to Edison. Edison did not invent the light bulb. It was a Black man. The cotton gin. You know what I'm saying? There's so many things that was made by Black people that we do not benefit from. We do not get credit for. The families of those people who invented things, the descendants of those are still broke, poor, and living in the ghetto. You know why? Because we are not gathering the grapes. We're not benefiting from the work that we put forth. The cell phone will not be here if it wasn't for Black people. The internet will not be here if it wasn't for Black people. A Black woman invented GPS. The global positioning system was invented by a Black woman. And what benefits? I didn't know about that. How long has GPS been around? For like about a good 30, 40 years? Since the 70s, I think. And why am I just now knowing that? Is she benefiting off of that? I wonder if she's still alive to even benefit off of it. Is her children benefiting off of it? Every phone has it. Not even every phone. Debit cards, those little chips inside debit cards, those little micro RFD chips. I mean, IFD, whatever they call it. RFID chips. They have GPS in them too. So if they wanted to find exactly where you are, they don't even need you to have your phone. As long as you got your debit card, they can find you. You know what I'm saying? Like, GPS is everywhere, and this woman's not benefiting from it. Yeah, I heard about the Brett Favre thing. And that's another thing. That's another thing about the curses. Like, we are not the largest in welfare. We got that stigma, but we are not the largest number in welfare. But guess what? People like Brett Favre still feel like they have the right. Hold on, not the right. They have the right to rob from those who receive welfare in Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? He felt like he had the right to do that. You better research that, Riptide. He did not research it. But Brett Favre is a disgusting bastard. A very disgusting bastard. Now, I'm saying it like he didn't just rob from the poor that, you know what I'm saying, but he robbed from the people who needed it the most. You know what I'm saying? He robbed from the people who needed it the most. Like everybody worried about, you know what I'm saying, Nia Long and her feud, but no, this is the bigger story here. Brett Favre literally robbed those who needed the most. Those who, like, Mississippi's, I think, is the poorest state in the country. I think Mississippi is literally the poorest state in the country. And he literally took from them. You know what I'm saying? That's what we get for begging our enemies for help, period. Period. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue with the next curse. Let's drop down to 32. Let's go to verse 32. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look, and fail with longing for them all the day long. Like back in the day during, you know what I'm saying, the hardcore slavery when we was in chains and things, they were literally, so many ways they did it. But these monsters will literally strip the baby right from the mother's hands and sell the baby. And sell the baby. You know what I'm saying? And those parents will never see those babies ever again. Those parents will never see those babies ever again. And not just that, they were aborting our babies back then. Even, abortion's nothing new. They hung black women and cut the baby right on out. Sometimes they'll cut the baby out, seal the woman back, or hopefully sometimes they live through that. You know what I'm saying? They would, even some babies that was born, if the master was having financial problems, and that would be another mouth for him to feed, he would kill the baby right in front of both parents. You know what I'm saying? They were disgusting people. They've been splitting up the black family way before the welfare system. They've been splitting up the black family way back then. And this is a curse. And this is a curse that only fits black, Hispanic, and Native people. Why you think they shipped out the parents, the Mexican parents, the South American parents, and put the children in cages? They've been separating us for centuries. And they're still doing it today. What do you think these child protective services are about? Like, I remember growing up, it wasn't a big thing back then to leave your kids in the car while you go in the store and shop. It wasn't a big thing. I don't know what made it a big thing, but I seen Caucasians do it and no punishment, no repercussions, right? I see a black woman do it. She's going to jail and the kids are being took away from her and she's being charged with child endangerment. I seen stuff like that. I seen stuff like that. Like, how? They still separating us. They're still separating parents from children. Why are they doing that? Because they know the black family is a institution that will make us stronger. That's what it was before integration. The black family was our biggest resource, and that's our only resource today. And that's the only resource that we technically need is each other. So separating us, kicking the man out the house, putting the children in child protective custody, you know what I'm saying, is destroying us as a people, destroying black, Hispanic, and Native as a people. And nobody else goes through those as a people more than us. You know what I'm saying? Nobody goes through it more than us, period. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue with these curses, man, because if you see, all these curses only fit certain people, and those certain people are the black, Hispanic, and Native people. But let's continue. Let's drop down to oh no, let's continue with this. I didn't even finish this verse. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fare with longing for them all the days. Like, from back then, we were sold to another people. Now we still being sold through child protective custody. You know, child protective services. We still being tossed around, split up, and everything. You know what I'm saying? And there shall be no might in thine hand. There's nothing that we can really do about it. Once, you know, like I seen Caucasian drug addicts have no problem reobtaining their kids, and they still drug addicts. But let a black woman that is down on her luck doing drugs lose her kids. No, 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 no. She don't even have to be that. Let's say she got into a argument and somebody lied on her. We all seen it. Y'all black women understand. Y'all been lied on many a times. Somebody called child protective services on her. She gonna go through hell just to get custody of her kids back. Or child protective services is going to be at her house every week, just aggravating the hell out of her, slowing up her money flow, and she did nothing. You know what I'm saying? They get their kids back easily from child protective custody. If they want them, they could get them. Blacks and Hispanics got to jump through hoops, build bridges. You know what I'm saying? We gotta, you know what I'm saying, explore the galaxy just to get our kids back from Child Protective Services. I don't even know what it's called anymore. Children and Family Services. It's called something else now. I mean, they changed the name, it seems like every 4 or 5 years. But that is a curse that's plainly Black, Hispanic, and Native people. But let's continue. The fruit of thy land and all thy laborers shall a nation which thou knowest eat up. So everything we do, everything that we build up, another nation is going to eat it. We've been talking about that for a while now. Like the only thing that Caucasians has ever invented is the patent office. So they could run around steal patents of our inventions. In another nation that we do not know. We don't know these. They are strange people. What it means by know is familiarity. You know what I'm saying? We don't know these because they are unfamiliar. Their ways and their practices are unfamiliar to us. I mean, it was strange. I mean, like, let's say, I don't know if y'all old enough, but back in the 80s, you talking about eating a medium rare steak. That was strange to us. It's bloody to us. It's strange. Nowadays, we eat it because we want to be so much like them. We want to integrate, and I'm going to stop saying integrate. We want to assimilate into their culture. And that's why so many of us are doing the things they do. Back in the day, Black people did not eat bloody steak. I don't know what's going on today. Back in the day, Black people did not wear skin-tight pants. I don't know what's going on today. Back in the day, we were not, you know what I'm saying, practicing and standing up and fighting for rainbow flags. I don't know what's going on today. You know what I'm saying? There was a point in time where the Black family was the strongest unit in this country. Black children weren't getting kidnapped. You know why? Because Black children were in Black neighborhoods around Black men, and we looked out for each other. That Martin Luther King had a dream, and now our children are being kidnapped left and right. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. Let's drop down to let's finish that up. And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. Like, that's what's going on with us. Who is being oppressed? Who is being crushed? Who is being pushed down and stomped down? Black, Hispanic, and Natives. I know y'all might say, that's just conspiracy theory. We're all equal. Equality isn't real. Equality is not real. So us thinking that we're equal to them is madness, which we spat. That's a curse. We talked about that earlier. All these curses intertwine. But let's continue. Let's try another one. Let's go to 36. Let's drop down a couple of verses. Let's go to verse 36. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king. Yes, thy king. Who's thy king? That's our leader. Who is the Black, Hispanic, and Native leader? I'll let y'all think about that. Which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. So whoever our leader is, we have given them unto our enemy. Our leader has been handed over to our enemy, is now following our enemy. You know what I'm saying? A leader is leading us to do what our enemy does, to assimilate with our enemy. Remember, this is our king. Our king. Our king. What's MLK's last name? King. And that's who black people set over. Huh? I mean, you can't even talk bad about Martin Luther King. You can't even talk bad about him. But let's read that from the top again. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Like, we don't know these people who we serve, but we are serving their gods. You know what I'm saying? We are serving their gods. Who's their gods? Who's their gods? Let's continue. Wood and stone. Their God is wood and stone. What's black people's top two religions? Yes, as a people, we have religions that's not ours. And we are serving the gods of other people. And what are those two religions? Christianity and Islam. Christianity, you serve and you bow down to some. Don't say you don't, because I've seen you do it. And not just black people. Let's say Hispanics too is Catholicism, which is the daddy to Christianity. So let's talk about it. They bow down and pray to a cross that's made of wood. It has some Caucasian man on it. And they bow down, pray, and kiss a stone that's inside of a box in Mecca. That is Christianity and Islam, wood and stone. They got a cross around their neck. Yeah, it's made of gold instead of wood, but still symbolize that wooden cross. You know what I'm saying? They got the sun, moon, and star. All those are rocks. It symbolizes that stupid rock in Mecca. That's what it is. Either Christian or you're Islam. Oh, yeah, and Egyptology. Yeah, let me tell you about Egyptology and all the writings on their stone wall. That's more stone that you're worshiping. It's all about those stone walls and those papyruses and all that. But let's continue. Let's find another curse. I'm running a little short on time here. Let's continue reading. And thou shalt become astonishment. Like, it's amazing to see Black, Hispanics, and natives in the conditions that they're in. Because those who know, because there are those out there that's not of us that know exactly who we are. But those who know that we were once on top, and now look at us. On the bottom, under their thumb. You know what I'm saying? That's an astonishing thing to see. And it's also astonishing to see us even survive the hell that they put us through. That's an astonishment. You know what I'm saying? So we are an astonishment, a proverb and a byword. How can a people be a proverb? Let's look up the definition, proverb. Let's look up the definition of proverb. All right, about to share the screen. Oh, I got to select one. All right, my bad. Sharing the screen. Proverb. As a proverb. brief, popular epigram or maxim, adage. It's a description, basically. We know what proverb means as a proverb. We know what it means as a verb, right? To speak of, obsolete, right? A noun, that's the definition we're looking for. A form of a verb do use to avoid repetition of a verb, such as doing, act as I do. You know what I'm saying? This is what they think of us. We are a proverb. And not just that. What else it says? Let's look up the other word they say that we are. We are obsolete. And we are a byword, a proverbial saying. Like, we are a proverbial saying. What's a proverbial saying? Like, we are African American. One that personifies a type. We are black. One that is noteworthy or notorious. A frequently used word, nigger. Excuse that. Don't report me for saying that. That's what we are. That's what the scripture says. We are a proverb and a byword. You know what I'm saying? And within being a proverb and a byword, we are a whole bunch of things that they say that we are, but we're not that. We are not that. They say that we are African American. That's a curse upon us. You know why? Because we don't know who we are. So we accept anything that they say that we are. We accept any identity. We accept any proverb. We accept any byword and claim it as it is our own. You know what I'm saying? We claim it as it is ours. Hold on. We got ISUPK Milwaukee in the building. Let me see if I can invite the Ottawa up in here. Right? We call ourselves African. We call ourselves American. How can we be that proud, those two proverbs, and combine them together and say that's what we are? The term African American was invented by Jesse Jackson back in the late 80s, I think 88 or 89. We are not African American. We are not any of these proverbs and bywords. We are actually Israelites. So I'm going to read that one from the top again. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all the nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. Like, every nation got a proverb and a byword for us. No nation actually calls us who we are. Not one nation. Caucasian calls us Negro, niggers, and blacks. Africans call us Akata. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what Asians call us? Who knows what Arabs call us? Who knows? But we are not called who we are. You will never be called an Israelite. You will never be called, you know what I'm saying, a prince of the Lord. You will never be called by your tribe, a Judite, a Issacharite, a Ephraimite, I don't know what you call it, Manassite, yeah, Manassite, so forth and so on. You will never be called any of those things because our oppressor rather call you by what he wants to call you by, which is a proverb and a byword. We have surnames. Those surnames are proverbs and bywords. Those are not what we actually are. Those are not what we actually are. We are not actually butlers. We're not actually Smiths. We're not actually Carters. We're not actually Hines. We're not actually any of these names. Those are not the names of our forefathers. I'm not related to a Washington. There's no blood connection between this Butler and whatever Butler from Ireland. None. Oh, hold on. But let's continue. Let's find another curse. Let's go to 41. Let's go to verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters. Oh, hold on. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. That goes back to the earlier one. Believe it or not, Child Protective Services, the system is a captivity. These children are restricted and they are abused in such a system. That system of so-called Child Protective Services is not beneficial to those children. It is a captivity. It is a form of oppression unto them. You know what I'm saying? But not just that. Back in the chattel slavery, like I was bringing up earlier, back when we were slaves in a hard bondage, our children were literally stripped from us and literally auctioned off. You know what I'm saying? So our daughter, we should get sons and daughters, and we shall not enjoy them. We won't be able to have a good time with them. And it don't just stop there. You know what I'm saying? Through the feuds of this gender war that black men and black women have, which is so disgusting. This gender war is so disgusting that a black man cannot enjoy his children. A black woman cannot enjoy her children due to this gender war that we are pent up against each other, which is orchestrated by actually our enemy. But this gender war is keeping us from enjoying our children even on that note. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. All thy trees and fruit of thy land shall the locust consume. The stranger that is within, we don't even have land to even worry about that curse. But some brothers down, you know what I'm saying? Some brothers down in down south do actually own land, but they can't seem to grow crop very well. You know what I'm saying? Because the locusts don't actually mean just actual locusts. Our oppressor is a form of a locust too. He's consuming everything that we get. Like, these brothers ain't making money. The brothers that actually do own farms ain't making money like that. They ain't making money like that. They ain't making money like these other farms out there. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. This verse 43, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high. Like, look, there's strangers within us. What do I mean? There's strangers within us. Look at these Arabs. The Arabs come in and they live amongst us, and guess what? They are raised above us. They have businesses in our neighborhoods. They are getting rich off of our backs and our sweat and our blood and our tears. You got Africans in our neighborhood setting up braiding shops and all that, and it's so hard. Her sister got to braid hair in the kitchen, and you know what I'm saying? She can't even open up a shop because the system don't even give her the proper licenses. So she braiding hair in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? You got all these enemies amongst us, all these other nations, all these strangers that live amongst us, and they are set up above us. You know what I'm saying? Because put it like this: you go to Quincy, you're gonna see a lot of East Indians, and they're prospering. You go to let's say around here, let's say in the upper corner area, you're gonna see a lot of Africans, and they're prospering above us. You know what I'm saying? Down in Dudley, you're gonna see like 100 different other nations stores ran by other people because they are set above us. All these strangers that come around us are set above us. You know what I'm saying? We got an Asian mayor, Chinese mayor in Boston, and guess what she does? She makes it easier for Asians to set up shop in the black neighborhoods. She makes it so much easier for them to get above us. You know what I'm saying? She may fake it seem like she's all about, unity and equality, but she's not. She's not. She's looking out for her people, who most likely didn't even vote for her, because Asians don't even vote. But let's continue. Let's see. He shall, verse 44, he shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. Like, these people are in our neighborhoods, and we got to borrow from them. They can't borrow from us. So that's another form of oppression, because they're going to tax us on top of that. And it's our culture. We're not supposed to, add interest onto what a brother or sister borrowed from us. If a brother or sister needs $20, I give them $20. Well, guess what? I should expect that $20. But our oppressor, once they lend to us, they're not expecting that $20. Our oppressor is going to expect back 30, which is making us harder to get back on our feet, because we just lost $10 for nothing. We lost $10 for nothing. And we can't even lend to them, because guess what? We ain't got nothing to lend. We ain't got nothing to give to them. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. He should be on top, and we should be on the bottom. Our enemies are on the top. We are at the bottom of the food chain. You know what I'm saying? We are the most expendable in this country. We are the grunts. We are the front line to any war that they set up. You think they putting their daughters and sons on the front line? Nah. It's us. Let's continue. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he command thee. See, it's just that simple. All these things are happening to us because we did not keep the Lord's law, statutes, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder. That's how it's an identification. What do signs do? How you know when you're at a McDonald's? Because you see that sign that says McDonald's. How do you know where the bathroom is? Because you see that sign that has a little man on it or a little woman on it or both on it nowadays, because it's a sick world. But that's how you know where the bathroom is. A sign is for identification. And we're a wonder, because in fact, it's amazing when you see us. Like, wow, that's them. Those are the Israelites. Like, what? Those Negroes over there. Those poor, broken down, drug-infested, disease-infested people are God's chosen people. Wow. That's the wonder. That's the wonder right there. But let's continue. When shall drop down? And upon thy seed forever. And these curses is going to be upon our seed forever, because in some fact, that's the only way you can identify us. Can't identify us because of our names. That was stripped from us. Can't identify us because of our language. That was stripped from us. You can't identify us because of our culture. That was stripped from us. So we only have one thing that we could do to recognize who we are, and those are the curses that were set upon us. Those curses are those things that let you know who the real Israelites are. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Because we wasn't happy with what the Lord was doing for us. We wasn't happy with it. Just like we're not happy with it today. You know what I'm saying? Just like we're not happy with it today. So we have to get our backside. Like, no parent likes an unappreciative child. No parent likes an unappreciative child. An unappreciative child has to get disciplined at some point. And that's what the Most High is doing it. And when that child gets disciplined, guess what? He starts to learn what he should appreciate. Some things get taken away from him. his rulership gets taken away from him. His name gets taken away from him. His language gets taken away from him. He starts to appreciate those things that was stripped from him. You know what I'm saying? But let's drop down. No, let's continue. Let's continue. Therefore, thou shalt serve thine enemies. Remember, we got enemies, and that's who we serve. What do you mean we serve our enemies? Let's continue. Let's figure out how we serve our enemies. Which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger. We serve our enemies in hunger. If we don't work, do we eat? If we don't go to that 9 to 5, do we eat? No. And when we do go to that 9 to 5 and we make that money, who do we give that money back to? We're going to Stop and Shop. We're going to Price Right. We're going to all these other stores that's not black owned. We're not going to our brothers for our hunger. We're going to our enemies for our hunger. We're going to McDonald's, Burger King, Chick-fil-A, Popeyes. We're going to our enemies for our food. You know what I'm saying? And in thirst, if we're thirsty, if we don't work, do we drink? It's possible. But who runs the water? Who filters and cleans the water for you to drink it? And believe me, they could pinpoint areas and no longer filter those waters. And next thing you know, you are drinking dirty, poisoned water. They could do that. But let's continue. And in nakedness, if we didn't have a job, would we be looking as fresh as you are? If you didn't have a job working for your enemy, how would you be looking right now? Oh, Slogan says you got a question, type it on in. Type it on in. Let me see if you already asked it. Just never come though. You got a question, Chosen, type it on in. I see you. How the white man get these names? They are from Caucasus Mountains. Well, I'm not quite sure on how they gave themselves their names, but they gave themselves their names. Do you know? You understand the European name? You understand it when you hear it. You understand the English name when you hear it. You understand the Irish name when you hear it. You know what I'm saying? You know the difference between O'Reilly and Sullivan and from Carter and Smith. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can hear the difference between Luciano and Umbaka. You know what I'm saying? Down in Africa. Every nation has their names, except for us. You know what I'm saying? Black, Hispanic, and natives, we're carrying other nations' names. We carry other nations' languages. We are speaking English because we were enslaved by the English. People in Cuba speak Spanish because they were enslaved by people in Cuba. People in Brazil speak Portuguese because they were enslaved by the Portuguese people. The Haitians speak French because they were enslaved by French people. These languages and names come from the cultures that they had. I mean, we all know they were in the Caucasus Mountains, but even their cultures, split up. You know what I'm saying? They got tribes amongst them. You know what I'm saying? Israel wasn't the only man that has tribes amongst his children. Esau has tribes amongst his children. You know what I'm saying? And that's evident. You know what I'm saying? Because these cats out here, man, we know they come from the Caucasus Mountain. That's why their name are Caucasians. Because they are the people of the Caucasus. But there's not a Caucasus name that is universal. You know what I'm saying? Their name derived from certain tribes, like Italians, the Lucianos and the Gambinos, and a lot of O's in their last name. You know what I'm saying? A lot of O's at the end, and you got the Irish, you got a lot of O's at the beginning. The O'Reillys, the O, and then you got the English, you don't have O's at all. Then you got the Spaniards and the Portuguese, the Germans, they all got different names, but they're all the same people. And they gave their names to their slaves. Just that simple. That's how you know who they belong to. But since I'm running low on time, I'm going to try to fast forward this a bit. And the want of all things, like we have to go to them for the want of all things. You're not recognized to be alive, to be living, to be a human being until they give you a birth certificate and a social security number. You're not even recognized dead till they write a death certificate. We literally have to go to them. You're welcome, sis. We literally have to go to them for the want of all things, for everything that we need and want. We have to go to them for food, clothes, shelter, water, death certificate, birth certificate. We're not considered married in their eyes unless they marry us. Like for us to be married, they have to say that we're married. Like they have to tell me my woman is my woman. We have to go to them for the want of all things. You know what I'm saying? And the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar. Like these people are against us, and they were not close by. They are not our people. They are not familiar. As swift the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. We didn't understand these names they gave us. We didn't understand English. We didn't understand Spanish, French, Portuguese. You know what I'm saying? Whatever language the Dutch speak. We didn't understand those languages. But we do now. And we lost our own tongue. We lost our own tongue in the process. You know what I'm saying? They came as swift as this all happened suddenly and quickly, right? And they come through destroying us, plundering, killing us, whipping us. And that shows you how important language is, because we did not understand them. They were strange people to us. You know what I'm saying? A nation of fierce continents. They were a nation of fierce continents, means that they were an angry, mean, evil people. And history shows who that is. History shows who that is. You know what I'm saying? And he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land. Everything that we work for, they benefit from. These are the curses that's set upon us for not following the Lord. You know what I'm saying? These are the curses, straight up and down. But let's drop that. Let's get down to there's so many curses I want to. I got a little time. I want to start with Let's drop down to 53. Let's drop down to 53 real quick. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body. What does that mean? This is a curse that actually did happen. What did we say the fruit of our body was? Basically, let me get straight down to it. Israelites did practice in cannibalism. We were so downtrodden, we were so destroyed that we actually did eat our own children. As disgusting that was, that shows you how oppressed we were. We actually ate our own children. You know what I'm saying? And that still goes on today. Not in a physical sense, but we are destroying our children by eating off of them. What does that mean by eating off of them? Yeah, I'm speaking in slang terms now because the Bible's written in slang. But we eating off our children now, huh? How many bills you got in your own child's name? I know I had debt before I was even able to, sign up for a credit card. I had cable bills in my name. I had telephone bills in my name, and I didn't even know till I tried to get it done myself. Till I tried to get my cable for my own apartment, or my phone for my own apartment. I didn't know I had debt till, then. We are destroying our children by eating off of them already. But let's continue. The flesh of thy sons and the flesh of thy daughters, which the Lord God hath given thee, in siege and in straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, this is an important curse. The man that is tender among you and very delicate, like there's a lot of tender and delicate men walking around right now. What do I mean by very tender and delicate? They're sensitive. They're sensitive. They're weak. They're fragile. You know what I'm saying? His eyes shall be evil towards his brother. That's why we out there with this black on black crime. Our eyes are evil towards one another because we are overly sensitive because of the oppression that we're going through. We are overly sensitive due to our oppression, man. We just emotional. And who do we take it out on? We take it out on the easiest targets around us, which is each other. Which is each other. You know what I'm saying? And toward the wife of his bosom. That's why there's so much domestic violence. I mean, domestic violence is a big problem in the Black and Hispanic community. Domestic violence is a problem. And it's not just men beating up on the women beating up on the men too. Women are beating up on the men too. Because a lot of us men are taught that walk away method. And it's a wise thing to do. But that's making our women emboldened to think that they can actually beat us in a fight until they meet somebody that's not really for that. And that person really punches them in the eye, break their orbital socket, and now they're the victim. No. Black on black crime is an issue. And this curse fits Black, Hispanic, and Native people. But let's continue. And toward the remnant of his children which shall leave. You know what I'm saying? Verse 55, so that he will not give any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat. So there's nothing, no heritage, nothing being passed down to his children. You know what I'm saying? Nothing. Let's drop down to 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set her sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness. Like, that shows you what type of delicateness and tenderness that these men were under, because it's the same delicateness and tenderness that our women are under. Women were so delicate and tender that they wouldn't even set their foot on the ground. That's how feminine they were. These brothers are just as feminine, just as emotional and feminine. And that emotional and feminine energy is causing the same thing. It's causing black on black crime because it's doing it with the women too. You know what I'm saying? So let me read. Her eyes shall be evil towards her husband and towards her son and toward her daughter. Like the black woman, her eyes is evil towards that man. That's why she kicks him out very quickly. She kicks him out very quickly. You know what I'm saying? The beef between mothers and daughters nowadays is very sad. It's saddening. You know what I'm saying? The mothers cussing out their sons and you look like your ugly daddy. You know what I'm saying? They cussing they demeaning their sons. That's why there's so many homosexual men now, because they raising them to be feminine men anyway. Just crushing their spirit from the get-go. You know what I'm saying? And there's no man in the house. She kicked that husband of hers out the house who can't even protect the children from her. You know what I'm saying? But let's continue. And toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet. And like even the baby that comes out from between her feet. Sadly, nowadays, the baby don't even make it out from between her feet. Or women's eyes are evil towards the unborn children. You know what I'm saying? From between her feet and toward the children which she shall bear. She haven't even born yet. For she shall eat them. Now, it doesn't mean like actually eating them at this point. It actually means destroying. You know what I'm saying? She shall destroy them for want of all things. Why does she destroy them? She has these abortions because she wants to have a career. She wants to finish school. She has these abortions because she wants things. Not because her body's at risk or because she was raped. Yeah, those things do happen, but they're a small percentage. They're a small percentage. You know what I'm saying? That's not an everyday thing. What time is it? I got 2 more minutes. Let's drop down. Oh, there's so much I want to go over. Let's drop down to Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Hold on. Nah, I don't even want to go. I don't even want to go there. Let's hold on. Hold on. Man, there's so many. And golly. 68 is the meat and potato. So I'm going to end it on 68. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way thereof I spake unto thee. Like, listen, the word Egypt comes from the Greek word Egyptos, which just means bondage. The actual biblical name of that land is actually called Mizraim, who is the forefather to these Egyptians, who is a son of Ham. Mizraim is one of the sons of Ham, and he is the forefather to the Egyptians. The land's actual name is Mizraim. You know what I'm saying? The word Egypt, it does mean the land, but it also means bondage. You know what I'm saying? So, and the Lord shall bring thee into bondage again with ships. Like, we walked out of there. We walked out of Egypt the first time. How are we going back by ship? Because it ain't talking about the physical land Egypt. It ain't talking about the land Mizraim. It's talking about bondage. We're going to go back into bondage again by ships. Who was the people that went into bondage again by ships? And throughout history, the Israelites were never in bondage a second time in Egypt. That never happened. So it definitely means a whole nother land. We're going to go into bondage again by ships. Who went into bondage by ships? Hold on, let's continue. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. So that land, we ain't going to see that land no more again. So Egypt, we ain't going to see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen. We're going to be sold unto our enemies. Like, a lot of people like to bring up the Burberry, whatever you want to call it, slavery, where the Irish was enslaved to England. That's not really a slavery. Y'all really just had a conflict, and a lot of the times the Irish lost. But guess what? Those ain't really your enemy. Those are your brothers. And y'all just having a little squabble. No. Us, we were sold into our enemies, and we were shipped. Only people who went through that is Black, Hispanic, and Native people. And we were sold to our enemies. Only people sold unto their enemies purposely were Black, Hispanic, and Native people. And it started off with the natives and the Hispanics being shipped to Spain and France. And then they went to so-called Africa and enslaved us. You know what I'm saying? And let me finish this verse off. And no man shall buy you. Buy is another word for save. No man's going to save us. No man's going to redeem us, because when you buy something, you redeem it. You are taking it. No man's going to help us, save us, or free us from that bondage. We are still under that bondage today. You know, with that, and I'm going to end the class on that. This is the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, straight out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And with that, shalom.